All right, here we are outside of RL Liquidators headquarters in Sacramento. We helped launch their website, rlonlineauctions.com, back in October of last year. And since then, they've had over 100 auctions. And in fact, this week, they have 4 online auctions going on. So let's get inside and meet the brains behind the operation. Speaking of the brains of the operation, here he is. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Excellent,
Good.
excellent. So, we wanted to talk about the online auction just a little bit,
right.
The software.
Yeah.
We helped launch you guys back in October of last year.
Right. Our auction site, yes.
Yeah, that's right, sorry. The online auction site. Since then, we've had over 100 online auctions.
Yes, we have.
And this week alone, you got 4 of them going on.
Yes, we did.
How are things working out for you?
Fantastic. It was part of the plan from the very beginning of our liquidation company to have our own auction company. And we'd actually talked at the very beginning about, do we do a live auction, do we do online auction? We weren't sure which direction we wanted to go. The more we thought about it, the more we thought the online auction makes more sense. Mm-hmm. Just because we can go anywhere in the country and hold an auction where we are. And we have our followers, we have people that buy furniture regularly that are already going to know about the auctions that are going on. It's hard to develop that kind of following and that kind of rapport with your customers when you're just doing a live auction.
Oh, absolutely.
So we were looking around at different auction software companies that we could use. We almost chose, I don't know if I'm telling you this one.
Go for it.
We almost chose another company. So it's a company, and I can't remember where it's based, somewhere in the Midwest. And we almost went with them. We actually got the paperwork from them we were going to sign. And we were getting ready to sign it. We thought, there's just something something's just not quite right. So I said, let's call West Auction from there. So we called you guys up, and I can't remember what it was when we were talking, but it was a number of things we were talking to you guys about. This is definitely the way that we.
I'm glad you went with it.
Well, it was definitely the right decision from our part.
Well, how did things work? So in the beginning, right at the setup, what was the setup and the training like? The very first week when you signed up.
That's one of the things that we really appreciated the most about the auction software and the relationship with you guys is that it's a very personal relationship.
For sure.
It's not this kind of big nameless corporation. You're dealing with a sales rep from that corporation, and you don't really know who does what. The relationship we have with you guys is fantastic. So Dennis from the very beginning when he called us up and he asked us, what do you want the site to look like? We talked to it on the phone. He came out with a prototype, if you will, and he says, okay, take a look at this. Is this what you want? And there were just a couple of minor changes. We said, let's do this, and every time it's just been, bam, done. And so very quickly we had the site that we wanted. And at that point it was just a matter of, okay, how do we use the software? And it's super intuitive, so it's super easy to use. And
you didn't do much training, right? I mean, it seemed like we didn't do a lot. I mean, we showed you the site and then you just picked it up from there.
Yeah, very little. Dennis had me on the phone for maybe an hour and just stepped me through every part of the process. This is how you build an auction, this is how you do the accounting for it, this is how you do the invoicing for it, just stepped us through it. It took maybe an hour, and we were up and running. And every now and then we'll call him up and say, hey, how does this happen, how does this happen? He always answers the phone, or if he's doesn't answer right away, he always calls right back. We've never had any trouble getting hold of him. And he's been fantastic the whole way. So, I mean, literally it was from the time we said, okay, let's do this is the right decision, it was days, and we had an auction site up and running.
And then you had your first online auction within a week or two, and you've been having them, it seems like what, it's like 3 or 4 a week?
3 or 4 a week at least, yeah. Sometimes it's more like 5 or 6. Our thought was we'll start out with 1 a week and just build up the auction customers, because we already had our liquidation customers, but we didn't have the auction customers. So 1 a week, we'll slowly build up the auction customers. Well, very quickly it went to 2 a week, and then 3 a week, and then 4 a week.
Did you find that so when you launched the website rlonlineauctions.com, we did a little bit of promotional work, if I remember. Did you see any results from that?
Oh, huge! Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what your guys' mailing list is, but I know it's in the tens of thousands.
Yeah, I think it's about 14,000.
Okay, 14,000 or so. But I know you guys did that initial blast of announcing our online auctions, and we got a ton of customers from that. Our first auction that we ever held, we had given ourselves a budget that we thought we would make somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. We thought it was going to be a really small auction. We're just kind of seeing how everything works.
Yeah.
Trying to iron out all the kinks and that type of stuff. And we made, I think, 13,000. We almost did 3 times what we thought we were going to do. And almost all of them came from that original, email blast. We still have customers coming in today that were from that original email.
So, but from that, so other than the fact that the prices that we realized are higher and it was easier to attract bidders, what do you think would be, what surprised you? Because you weren't doing online auctions really before that.
Right.
What was like the biggest realization, or the, what has happened, that was unexpected, I suppose?
The biggest transformation is how easy it is to sell now what it used to be difficult to move. As a liquidation company, we've got big liquidation clients. We have Walmart and Costco and all these people, and so there's a lot of stuff that we have to move. And we used to have a difficult time moving some items. We would sit on them forever. We'd have to mark prices down just so that we could get enough of them to go, because we always have more coming in. Well, we're able to run through the auction now, and some things will go in auction more than we would sell them for if we were just having them here and selling them, and they sell faster. So the biggest realization is that we're finding more value in the things that we have and that we're selling than we had before.
Well, one of the things that I found most interesting about the way that you use the online auction platform is that you don't use it the way that we do.
Right.
I mean, I always imagined that people would kind of run their online auctions very similar to the way that we do it, but you make use of features like soft closes. Do you do that all the time? Is it always a soft close?
It's not always a soft close. It depends on what we're doing.
Okay, so you use the soft closes, you close at in different times.
We do.
Yeah. What else do you do differently?
Well, we try to close it in the evenings.
Yeah.
We're going after a different audience.
Yeah.
The audience of people that participate in our auctions are a different. A lot of them are the same people that participate in our auctions.
Sure. Right.
But a lot of them are different, and a lot of the stuff that we sell is different.
Right, of course.
So we definitely use the tool every way that we feel that we can use it to make money.
You really do. You explore all of the different features that are on there in a way that we don't. We're kind of married to a certain way of doing things, and you really kind of tweak it and play with it and kind of make it your own, which I always think is pretty neat deal.
Well, and that's the nice thing about the software too, is that it's very flexible. So if I want to have one little auction where I've got just a few things, but I think they're worth a lot of money, or for whatever reason I just want these few things in this one auction, I can just put those few things in that auction, and I can run them whenever I need to run them, and
you can tweak it, right? It's flexible. You can change the terms real quick, modify the auction, change the timing of it, notify bidders of events that are happening.
Exactly, and I love that feature. So I love the notify bidders feature, and I love the email list feature that you get out of it, because it makes communicating with your bidders very easy.
That's important. Communication is the most important part of the whole platform. So from the setup for you guys when you're what we call lotting and tagging, cataloging your auction, is that pretty seamless in terms of getting the data and the pictures and all that uploaded and onto the website? Very easy to.
So it's very easy. Actually, I was surprised at how easy it was. When we first started thinking about doing our auction company, and we were thinking through the logistics of it. Okay, logistically, how are we going to make this happen? I never imagined that it would be as easy as it is. So we literally have the camera out here, we take pictures of it, we take that little card out of it, I put it on my computer, and then it goes straight up to the software.
That's perfect.
So it's super easy. And then I go to the software and just boom, 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 I put the stuff.
We're about to make it a little bit easier too.
Oh, easier is always good.
And then, so getting the items up online is important. You know that the software, that it works, the bidding part of it works.
Yeah, that works great.
Invoicing, is that?
Invoicing, Invoicing is actually really good. You guys just made a new change in the invoicing that we really like.
What was that?
Because there was a couple of things that we were struggling with some of the invoices, is since we do have a different model, that we will run, we're running 3 or 4 auctions a week. So sometimes we'll have an auction customer that says, hey, I'm just going to keep bidding in all these week's auctions. I'll pay my bills at the end of the week. And so we want to combine invoices. We want to make multiple invoices because they came in and say, okay, this one I want to pay with this credit card, this one I want to pay cash. This one I want to add this thing that nobody else bought. And combining and adding was difficult. And some things we just simply couldn't do. And so we had to make our own offsite invoices. Well, all that's now been resolved with the new update. So we can add invoices, we can change the way people pay, they can do multiple payments on one invoice. Makes it easy.
And I think that's one of the things that kind of distinguishing things about us and our relationship here is that, one of the reasons why we started letting other people use the software was because we wanted to improve the overall quality and to add features, and ways of doing things that we weren't used to. And so I've seen changes on my own website that reflect things that you needed to have done. In terms of displaying the addresses, the location, you name it.
Yeah.
So I think that the ability to customize the website and to collaborate in a way on the development of the site has been really, really helpful.
Well, I've just been amazed at how responsive you guys are. I'll call Dennis up and say, hey Dennis, we're having this issue, or it would be nice if we could do this. And he never comes back saying, oh, we can't do that.
He tells me he wishes you would call more.
He always comes back saying, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do that. He says, let me find out what's going on. And sometimes it's done before I even realize. He calls me, it's okay, I did it. It's fixed. I go, really? I didn't even know it was possible, and he hasn't done that quickly. So that relationship.
One of the things that I actually was a little bit unaware of was the fact that so if your customers have a hard time, if there's some type of a technological issue that they're dealing with, rather than you having to sort it out and troubleshoot the problem, you can just call up Dennis and say, hey, this person's having a hard time. Can you give them a shout and help them out with it?
Well, actually, it was just because we just did the new software upgrade, and there were a couple of issues with caching or whatnot. So people weren't seeing on the screen what they were supposed to see when they went to the auction site. And we've been talking with Dennis, and we thought we had it all resolved. I had one customer that called me up or sent me an email saying, hey, when I go to your auction site, I can't see what I used to be able to see.
Right.
And so I just shot Dennis an email saying, hey, this person is having this problem, and it looks like they're using this web browser. Well, he actually picked up the phone, called that person, spent some time with that person on the phone, found out what the problem was, and then resolved it, not just for that person, but for everybody else that might have that same problem.
Right.
I thought that was awesome.
Good.
I just sent
Excellent.
an email.
Well, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, he picks up the phone and calls the customer and gets it.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad that works out. Anything else you can think of? I mean, we're trying to promote the auction software, so anything else you can think of that might be
No, just, as far as the auction software goes, I love how easy it is to use. I love how intuitive it is. So you're never on the site going, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. Whenever you're looking at it going, well, it would make sense that this is what I would do, that's usually the right decision. And then it's just so flexible. We can use it for, we can adapt it to whatever situation we're in.
That's what I like about it too.
Yeah. So it's just nice when I go to meet with liquidation customers, people that need to liquidate, and I can offer them this wide variety of options, based on our traditional liquidation business, but also based on what we can do with the auction software. It's just a fantastic match.
What's next for our liquidators?
We're opening up new locations. So what's next is that there's going to be more of us coming out. So
that's great.
Yeah,
I see you're in other states even.
We are. Yeah, we've got our Salt Lake City, Utah location up and running.
Nice.
So they've got a couple of auctions upcoming. Our San Jose location's doing really well. They just had 3 auctions that closed last week. They have a couple more coming up. So we're starting to expand. So.
Excellent. I'm so happy to be a part of it. And
well, so are we.
Let me know if there's anything else we can do for you.
Will do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.